That was a masterpiece. I mean, I'm gonna give it 5 reels for sure. What?
Welcome back to the Alamo Drafthouse, guys. We're interviewing Valerie over here, who coincidentally was interviewed by us about 3 years ago for Alita Battle Angel, but now we're at the Alamo talking about Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. What did you think? Tell everyone.
Well, it was pretty decent, I guess. I was actually more of a fan of the previous Marvel movies, to be honest.
Okay.
I honestly think that Wong should be the main character. I like his character way more. Honestly, I think Doctor Strange is a little bit flat as a character.
Talk about Wanda Maximoff, and I guess what makes her an essential part of this movie, other than the fact that she's the big baddie?
Well, I think it was good to bring another, not magician, but somebody else who uses magic, obviously, and they did make that kind of distinction between a sorcerer and a witch. I also think that she was kind of like not an antithesis to Strange, but just kind of like somebody who dealt with grief and pain in a different way. I definitely do think that Marvel kind of did her dirty in this movie. Like I'm not a mother, but at the same time, I'm just like, did that, like, I don't know, she has, you know, vision taken from her, and then like everybody else in the story, even just her origin too, is just really like tragic, and so I just wish that she did have a happy ending at some point.
So let's talk about this movie as a whole, your rating. So on our channel, in case you may have forgotten, we rate movies on a scale of 1 to 5 movie reels. Okay, and you can use halves if you like. How many reels does Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness get for Valerie?
Honestly, it's going to be like a 2.5.
2.5? Yeah,
just because after No Way Home and Shang-Chi, I was kind of disappointed.
Oh, that's a high bar.
Yeah, I was very disappointed.
What do you think this movie could have done better?
The storyline,
okay.
I think not really, like they could have had a better foe besides Wanda, I think, and just randomly including America Chavez was a little bit weird, just because I haven't read the comics, but I don't think that matches her in the comics.
Sure, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely the horror aspect was one of my favorite parts.
Okay, it's kind of a saving grace for you.
Yeah, that was one of the saving
Excellent.
graces.
Well, Valerie, thank you once again being on the channel with us. We will see you around, okay?
Thank you.
All right, take care.
We're back at the Alamo Drafthouse at Montecillo, and I am here with Christine and Eddie, who just got out of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. And so my first question to you is, initial reaction, recommendation or a flop?
Totally recommend it.
Yeah.
I'm a mom, and like mid to the end, I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I got to tell moms to see this. Like,
oh,
you know
wow. What an interesting perspective. I hadn't even thought about that. Okay.
It's how you are. It's those things that you give out to this earth, and you give everything. So I love it.
What about you, Eddie? What did you think of the movie?
I liked how they mixed up the universes. I'm not going to give no spoilers, but there's some crazy parts with the different Marvel universes. So,
did you believe Benedict Cumberbatch's performance and Elizabeth Olsen as thank you, as Wanda? did you buy into their performances?
Yes, I think especially Olsen. I think she
stole the show.
She's like, I do it or don't, you know.
Okay, so on our channel we rate our movies using movie reels. 5 reels is the highest rating. 1 is the lowest. So out of 5 movie reels, how many would you give Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness?
5 reels.
5 reels.
4. I gave 4.
4? Why does it rank 1 reel down for you?
Because there's the other movies like Endgame and all that stuff. So it has
to live up to Endgame.
Yeah.
So Endgame would be a 5, and then this one a 4, and then for you a 5 though.
Yeah, because Doctor Strange is, it's like his own kind of little book and his own story.
His own stamp, right, on the MCU. Okay, and you appreciate that. Awesome. Well, thank you very much for sharing. Thank you. We're back at the Alamo at Montecillo, and I am with Art, who just got out of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So, Art, initial reaction to the movie, man. Thumbs up, thumbs down? What do you think?
Thumbs up, all the way, definitely.
All the way, thumbs up. Yeah. Okay. Everybody's wondering, how does this movie compare to all the other MCU films? Would you put it maybe among the top 10, or where would you kind of rank it or place it?
I would say top 5 for sure.
Top 5?
Yes, definitely.
And you've seen all the MCU films?
Every single MCU film multiple times.
Oh my God. And So why is that? Why is it top 5 for you?
The expectations don't even come close to it. I came in here to thinking it was going to be one thing, and it went totally...
It exceeded them.
Yes, it went totally different, and it was even better than what I thought it was going to be.
All right. Okay, so are you familiar with the director, Sam Raimi?
Yes.
Yes? Evil Dead Tattoo! That's awesome. How did you like Raimi's take on you know, did you think he put his stamp on this movie, or?
Yes, definitely a Sam Raimi film. I mean, all the camera angles that he uses, all the gore, all the stuff, it's there. It's a Sam Raimi film through and through.
It's a Sam Raimi film, and for that reason, it elevated it for you,
It
right?
was even better, definitely.
Yeah. So on our review channel, we rate our movies using movie reels. 5 reels is the highest rating we give a movie. 1 is the lowest. So out of 5 movie reels, how many would you give? Do I need to ask?
10,000.
10,000.
3,000.
5 plus. Very good. Okay. So satisfied customer. So thank you so much for sharing your reaction. Appreciate it. Thank you.
We're back now with Azul. And Azul, I hear you're a huge Sam Raimi fan and MCU fan. So what are your thoughts on this movie? I suspect you kind of liked it.
I love this movie. Well, personally, like, I've always been a Marvel fan since I was like 9.
Okay.
So my mom's been taking me to the movies since 2008, ever since. And I'm a huge Wanda fan because WandaVision was one of the first things I saw during quarantine, and it really spoke to me. I wasn't the biggest Doctor Strange fan when I first started. This kind of made me a Doctor Strange fan. I was like, oh, he's cool, okay.
Yeah.
And this movie, it has a lot of themes that tie into a lot of the other projects, and I love that Marvel does this. Like, nothing is thrown away.
Right.
Almost nothing is thrown away. Like, no matter what you're watching, you're like, oh, I remember this from this movie, or oh, I know that person from this movie. And that's a very big thing for this. Like, it's the multiverse. It's kind of bringing everything back together and then kind of throwing it all over the place.
And that's what separates the MCU from anything else, right?
Yes.
The threads are connected.
Yes,
They're connected.
everything's connected. Sam Raimi said, I will not make a boring movie, and he delivered. He never makes a boring movie.
Very entertaining.
Very entertaining.
Yeah. So obviously you've seen The Evil Dead and all the other movies he's made. You know?
I'm a really big, I love Evil Dead. I watched all of them. I wasn't always a horror movie fan, but then like that was kind of my introduction to horror.
Yeah.
That and the Scream movies. And he incorporated everything that I love from horror, that I've learned to love from horror anyway. And he brought it out.
Wow. Well, I think I know what you would rate this movie. It's the perfect opportunity to ask you, from a scale of 1 to 5, how many reels would you give this?
Only because I don't believe anything's perfect. 4.75.
4.75. Okay.
I mean, this is my math kid being like 4.75. Like, nothing's perfect.
Right.
I haven't yet to see a perfect Marvel movie, but this one was damn close. Better than Endgame.
Sorry, I thought you said it's better than Endgame.
I think it's better than Endgame.
You thought it was better than Endgame.
Yes.
Wow, we'll have to have another conversation at another time, do a whole nother video, because that would be fun, because I think millions of people would disagree.
Oh yeah,
but I like that. I like this perspective. This is awesome. Okay. All right, well, you know what, Azul, thank you so much for being here and giving us your thoughts on Doctor Strange, and we'll see you again, all right? Take care. All right. Okay. I'm now pleased to have with us Tegan and Adrian, who coincidentally are 2 of the more popular and creative cosplayers in El Paso. I just wanted to plug that in. She is Leave It to Tegan. He is EP Wolverine. Check them out on Instagram. You'll love their stuff.
You flatter us.
Well, I have to. You guys are my buddies. I have to.
Too much, methinks.
Well deserved.
Oh, I love you guys.
So let's talk about Doctor Strange into the Multiverse of Madness, or in the Multiverse of Madness.
Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch go hand in hand in the comics, and I was really happy to see them together on screen, interacting and fighting and everything, because I think that they're like a great duo, cough cough triad if Loki were here, but
sure.
You know.
We can't have everything we want in life, right?
Sadly.
So what did you think about Scarlet Witch now being the big baddie?
I think that her character development went backwards as to how it was supposed to be, or kind of went flip-floppy, because in the comics she goes from villain to good guy and becomes one of the X-Men, you know, and then here we had a kind of villain, kind of good guy, and then ending on a big villain note as opposed to ending on a big hero note.
What about you, Adrian?
I will say this, that one thing I really enjoyed, and what is my biggest problem with her in any of the other MCU movies, is they really downplay her powers. This movie got to show, like, you know, a lot more of it, and it was terrifying in this sense. And, you know, like I said, she was more the villain, unfortunately, but we still got to see that power, and I'm very at least happy that, you know. But unfortunately, before this movie, I wasn't a big MCU Scarlet Witch fan, and yeah, neither was Tegan. And after this, it solidified it. I'm not a Scarlet Witch fan.
Still not?
I'm not, because especially, like, you know, she's the villain now, and she has no redemption. Unless, I mean, you have another multiverse one, that's great, but our focus is on this universe's line of heroes.
Gotcha.
And
okay.
hers is, you know, pretty much ending on a villain note for now, at least. We don't know what's going to happen. So
obviously, this is directed by Sam Raimi, who did famously The Evil Dead. I mean, everyone knows how campy horror that was, and it was very entertaining. What did you guys think of this Sam Raimi flick here? What did you think of the horror aspects?
I'll take this question first, because it was a Sam Raimi film. The way it was directed, the music by Danny Elfman, you know, that was great. You know, you catch little things like that right off the bat.
And Tegan, how did you think his style worked with this movie?
I really like the campy horror that was put in, because I think that sometimes comics can get really dark and really creepy, but we never really see that in the movies, balanced out with the humor that comics have. And I think it was nice to see the humorous and the really spooky, the mirror scene.
So now I'm going to ask how much fun you guys had with this movie, and I'm going to ask for your real ratings. You know, on our channel, we rate things on a scale of 1 to 5 movie reels. So we'll start obviously with you, Tegan. How many reels would you give Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness?
Dang, I'd say probably a 2.5 or a 3, which is sounds low for how excited I am about this movie, but I have high standards.
Sure, okay.
However, I had a lot of fun watching this movie, for sure. I was sitting there waving my hands and kicking my legs every time something happened.
Sure.
Yay, oh my god, that reference to that comic, or that character, this and that, made me really excited.
I think you helped solidify my answer a little bit more. I was going to go, you know, but I'm going to go with 3 reels. Just right in the middle. It hits, I think, for both fans, both MCU, those who don't read the comics, and those who do read the comics. I think it's a fun time. I have really, you know, everything has its nitpicks. I'm not going to critique those. It was a fun time.
Okay.
Go right in the center, 3.
Should people go to the theaters to watch it?
Alamo Drafthouse especially, yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, we absolutely hope to see you guys again, and maybe have you guys on for another interview, okay?
Yeah, of course.
Thanks. Good talking to you guys. We'll see you around.
Alrighty.
Take care.
So next we have Adrian, aka Ace. First of all, your initial reaction to this movie.
Initial reaction, honestly, I really loved it. I guess it took a weird departure from the standard, hey, these are action comedies, and went hey, this is more of a horror film now. Which I thought was also an awesome take on this one.
The horror elements, you appreciated them, right? If you had to pick a couple of strengths of this movie, what would they be? What did you think this movie did well, or what the stronger elements to it?
I think the stronger elements of this movie would be that it actually tied a lot of stuff together. We saw a lot of character development. We've now seen Wanda go from good guy to villain to I'd say more anti-hero.
Maybe redemptive character or anti-hero. Yeah, absolutely.
He's taking a very weird roller coaster of character
of emotions.
Yeah. And I mean, I know a lot. I was talking to my friend yesterday who saw this, and he was mentioning that this feels more like a Scarlet Witch movie, and I was thinking
do you feel that way? Or
it was, but it wasn't. It's similar to Civil War, where it's this is a Captain America film, but we all came here to see Spider-Man and Black Panther.
So you think that Doctor Strange got as much attention, right?
Exactly. I think he got the more attention, really.
Yeah.
And the fact that we're seeing the other versions of him, and how they're reacting to everything going on.
Absolutely. Is there anything in the movie that you found could have been improved, or anything that disappointed you maybe?
I think the only real improve to this would have been maybe incorporating some of the other Avengers that weren't, included on this one, instead of it just being Doctor Strange. And I mean, I guess Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch, maybe tie in someone else who could actually be of some help somewhere.
Obviously, you know your comic books, so how did you feel the movie actually adapted those comic books? Did you think that the movie did them justice, or?
This one actually did the comics a great justice, because in the comics we see Scarlet Witch, Doctor Strange together a lot.
Okay.
So now it's hey, finally we're here in the movie, and they're in the movie together. I mean, they're fighting each other, which they do a little bit in the comics, but this was a great way to put it all together.
Nice. Okay. As far as how you would rank this movie, with all of the other MCU films, would this make like your top 5, top 10, or not even?
Honestly, I'd put this in my top 10 for sure.
Yeah?
And that's just because it's on its own island, in the fact that it's not that standard action comedy, it's now that horror.
It's got its own stamp, its own signature, right? Yes, I agree. I would definitely put it in my top 10. So on our movie review channel, Reel Screeners, we rate our movies using movie reels, 5 reels being the highest rating, 1 being the lowest. So out of 5 reels, how many would you assign to this movie?
I'd say I'd give it a 4.7 for sure.
So we can only do halves. So you got to do 4.5, 4, or 5.
I can do 4.5. Yeah.
4.5. Okay. Because we don't have the we don't have the little.
I'll say, imagine editing that little extra 0.2 would be a little rough.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. So a solid 4.5. So generally, you were pleased with it, satisfied with it. So thank you very much for sharing your opinion, and have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.